Hello, 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 ho, ho. Hi, I'm Nemo. No. Hi, y'all. Good to see you. Good to see you. It's been too long. I want to say hello. Nemo Ashong here, founder of Empjoyment and leader of the World Joy Movement with the pioneers out there. Wow. Hello to you. I wanted to take just a little bit of time here because I'm realizing there's a lot going on right now in my world, and I have to really just slow down a little bit to just embrace it and just take it all in. And why I wanted to make sure I came out here is that in my work, I get a chance to work with people who are really up to big things, people who have had a track record of success and multiple areas. In fact, the people that I work with end up being multi-talented, multi-passionate people who often are looking for their next thing. And one of the things that have come up for me a lot as we've been working together has been what I'll call a reluctance to slow down and appreciate what they've done, what they've accomplished. What I'll call a reluctance to slow down and give themselves a pat on the back, to actually spread and share the great news about the things that they're doing. And I realized that, part of what I've found is that the people that I really connect with are people who are like me. They're either going through some of the challenges that I've gone through in the past, or they're working on things that I'm working on right now. And that's part of what makes it such a great relationship and such a strong connection, so much transformation that can take place. And as I'm talking about this here, I realize that what I'm doing really is stalling, because I'm going to talk about me a little bit here. I realize that these are also my challenges, and the best way to be a pioneer leader is to go forth and do. And so I have a challenge with celebrating great things that have happened. I have a challenge sometimes with sharing the wonderful things that I'm doing. And it's been a theme that's been on my mind this last week. I have a great wife. Nicole is really, really supportive of the things that I do. And I'll notice that she'll come online on social media and she'll share something that's like, proud of my husband for doing this, or like, check out this thing that Nemo's doing. And it's just been, especially in the last 2 weeks, I've just noticed that it's just been an outpouring of love and support from her. And I want to thank you for that, Nicole. One of the things that I realized I was thinking about the other day, I was brushing my teeth because I just just put it all out here, is that there's a service here. There's a service in sharing with people what's been going on. There's a service in letting them know and allowing people to come along the journey along the way. But it's something that, quite honestly, I really haven't done a great job of doing. And when I started thinking about that, when I started to become a parent for me, I'm like, why is that the case? And hello, here we go. It ends up being that thing about celebrating the successes. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to take some time. I'm going to create a brag zone here, and just know that this is stuff that's important for me. It may not be, how do I say this? Yeah, I'm not here to compare. There's going to be some things that I've done where people are like, finally. And some things that people will come out and feel their own type of way around it. I invite you to have your experience of whatever it is that I share. But I'm happy to put all this out here. So in the last few weeks, what's been showing up, I'm going to take off my bag because it's bringing me down. All right. So what I want to share with you, I think let's start with right now. I am thrilled because over the last week, I've had 3 separate events take place here in Singapore. I was able to host my first event where 75% of the people who said they were going to show up actually did. I was able to give a talk to a group of next generation leaders and share a bit of my story, and really share from a place of being able to, for them to be able to look into their values and use that to help them move forward. And then just yesterday, I had the wonderful pleasure of being a part of Campus Party, which is the first time that it's been offered here in Singapore, and just this wonderful celebration of creative ideas coming together. And I got a chance to talk for a bit and share for the first time world joy on a public stage, beyond Facebook Live, I should say, but world joy and maximizing your possibilities, and really just being surrounded by a group of people who have been interested in their development. And it's been incredibly refreshing, and I've loved each of those parts there. And I think the reason that I want to like shake my shoulders a little bit and dance and celebrate is because, well, there are a number of different things. I think the first one, and if I don't say it right now, it's going to keep playing in my mind, is that this entire week, it was Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday, so there was something going on basically just every other day here this week, and yet it felt smooth. It felt cool. It felt like these were all places that I had not played before. They were all new things for me, and yet at the same time there was this level of, I'm going to call it effortlessness, where yes, there was an effort that was put in, but I was able to embrace just being there and allowing it to just take place. I love that. I think that's one of my favorite parts about this whole entire thing, just to be like, all right, cool, man, you did it. But it was also done in a way where it wasn't really stressful, and you were able to be all that you wanted to be without having to put on a mantle of stress, of hard work and all that. It's like, this is what's real for me. Something else that I'm celebrating is just a level of depth and connection that was able to be formed even in group experiences. So for the last, I don't know how long, but since I came to Singapore, I've really been focused on one-on-one conversations, one-on-one coaching, deep coaching, creating space for people to explore for themselves, to understand who they are and how they can bring that out into the world. I help them discover, embrace, and leverage that. And it's been something that I've been really getting great at on a one-on-one basis. But this week was a bit of a stretch. It was a stretch in all accounts, because it was the first time I was taking depth and adding to its scale. We had over 35 people show up at my event on Tuesday called Unapologetically You. And to get an invite into that, yes, it was displayed about on Facebook and was shared in public areas. But really, this was an invitation. I reached out to people individually and asked them to be a part of it, because I felt that they were playing at this level, and I wanted to give them an opportunity to not just work with me and see what I do, but to really have an opportunity to meet other people who cared about the things that they cared. Different-minded, like-hearted people, right? Different-minded, like-hearted people. There were people there were entrepreneurs, there were startups, there were people who were business leaders. Like, all these different people were all in the same room, a multidisciplinary group of people who wanted to understand more about themselves so that they can bring it out into their world. Oh my gosh, how much fun is that? In my mind, that's what I was thinking. And the reason I'm so happy and so proud of this accomplishment is that all of them were able to be in the room, and for a while we were able to have that community right then and there. But we didn't do it at the sacrifice of depth. In fact, I asked for an agreement on this not being a networking event, and instead being a relationship building event. So I was like, if you want to give out your card, feel free, but don't do it because you feel you need to. Like, in fact, even just put their number in their phones. Only exchange your information if you want to keep in touch with this person. And we just were able to create something that got to a level of depth, and was able to kind of keep everyone connected. The other reason that in particular felt really great, and I want to sit back and say, like, yeah, this happened, is because, quite frankly, this week has really been a week of me really being on mission. My mission in the world is to bring together a truly inclusive and empowered world. And I have to look at it and say, what does true inclusion look like for me? Well, to me, true inclusion is about celebrating and valuing the things that make us different. It's about collaborating. And honestly, there's a part of it that's really coming up. And I want to thank my coach, Chris Joseph, for helping me see this here. But it's about true inclusion is about being able to be in a room and be all of who you are, and to be not just accepted, but valued for it. That's what I'm doing. And I think the reason that this felt so great, I've been able to do that on an individual basis, working with people one-on-one, where they've been able to see who they are and be able to do different things where they're pushing and challenging themselves. And I'll share a little bit about some of the fun things that have come up from that. But the thing that made this so great, and the reason I want to shake and wiggle, shake and wiggle, is because when we came there together, it really was bringing together a truly inclusive and empowered world. And it was the realization of the mission, making it happen in that one moment, in those 2 hours that we spent together, and in the half hour, an hour that people stayed afterwards just to get to know each other. In that moment, my mission came to life. In that moment, the model had been complete, and the model of how I saw the world was taking place. And from that perspective there, I thought, wow, it's happening. And if you ever see me at one of these events that I'm facilitating, I hope that ends up being the case, you'll notice that I'm just like, every once in a while I'm just on the side, I'm just like, I'm so happy. And the reason for that is it really brings me joy to see people who don't know each other find community, find themselves amongst other people. So I'm really, really thrilled about that. Let's see. I mean, the last. I think this is what's top of mind for me. There are a number of pictures going on. It's just a big week for me, and I'm now going to a place of really giving myself the space to say, okay, what's next? I don't think it's any major difference in terms of how I'm acting. I'm going to add this. I'm proud of the way that all of these opportunities came up. So the talk that I did on Wednesday, the opportunity that I had on to speak at Campus Party, they all came because I had one-on-one deep connections with people who then said, you know what, I'd love to have you be a part of this event that I'm a part of or that I'm curating. I think that your message out there should be shared to a larger group. Why don't you come and do it? And I think that there's an aspect of that, I'm proud of the fact that I was able to make deep enough connections that and really relate to people in such a way that without me sacrificing or without me apologizing for who I am, they're like, yeah, that Nemo, we want that. So that feels really great, and I have to put that out there. And I also enjoyed it because it didn't need to be hard. That was part of what made it feel so effortless. It was I was just having conversations. I was just serving people, and it led to these opportunities. And I think that it's very different from what I had experienced beforehand, where it was a lot of push. Let me get my message out there. Let me build all my podcasts. Let me market effectively and help make sure everyone knows this stuff here. This was let me go and serve people. Let me help serve this one person that's in front of me, these 30 people that are here in front of me, and then allow them to make their experience whatever they want and to take it to the levels beyond there. I don't know if there were other opportunities out there for me that I could have been doing earlier. I don't know if there are other opportunities that I could have been doing had I chosen to approach it differently. But I love the fact that I can continue to just invest in people and know that it will continue to pay dividends in multiple ways. And I am allowed to continue to go in depth with people. I'm Nemo. I don't do small talk, and I go in depth with people and still be able to get to a place of scale as well by just being invited to share more with others. So those are some of the things right now that are going on through my mind. And you're actually right now what you're seeing here is it's a bit of a transition. The transition from, okay, I think the last 10 months have been really focused on me and understanding who do I need to be, who do I want to be the person and do the things that I want to do. And it's been a consistent journey through that. And I want to thank each of you for being a part of it. I want to thank you all for watching the Facebook Lives and commenting back and really taking the time to go back and forth with me and help me really develop my ideas and understand what is really true for me. That's just been an incredible gift. And I want to thank you for that. It's also been a lot of me just understanding more about what does vulnerability look like? What does my leadership look like? This is part of it. I'm going to come out here and I'm going to share things in a way that that makes me both comfortable and uncomfortable. Likely uncomfortable because that's where I have fun, and that's why I jump onto these Facebook Lives. And you might have noticed that I even stopped going on Facebook Live for a while because, and I'll tell you why. I think a lot of it really is because I have found this medium to be incredibly useful from a standpoint of deeper exploration for self, of myself. Whenever there's something that's like, oh, I don't know if I should say this or not, I jump on the Facebook Live and I say it to as many people who care to listen. And what's come is that there's been a bit of it's not as difficult for me to do it. Like even now, as I'm sharing these things here, I'm just sharing it. It just is. And this is something that I've been working with my clients on to get to a place of understanding what it is that you want, and then knowing that through the action, through the expression of it, time and time again, it becomes easier. So I pull back on the Facebook Lives, and now where I'm at is to shift my focus a bit. I think that I'll continue to do things like sharing some of my successes, because I think that's me making sure that I own it, and I have to make sure I do that. But I also want to now shift my focus to each of you. Something that makes me uncomfortable, just thinking about it, is to really be a teacher. To come out and say, this is how to do things, or this is how I'm doing things, or whatever. And I'm going to play with it. I know I have to find my balance with it. It's not, I know that I'm an authority, but at the same time, I think there are ways that works for me. But I know that that's an edge for me to come out and have like a specific topic or a specific thing that I'm trying to teach as I go out. I've seen now how we can create spaces of intimacy and vulnerability and leadership in a very short period of time amongst groups of people. And so I'm thrilled that I've been able to do that. And I think that the next stage for me too involves me shifting that attention onto each of you to help you all experience that. And so I feel that this is the time for those conversations that I've been looking to have, starting to have them one-on-one with people, and now just bringing them in for groups of people to engage in those conversations. I don't know how it's going to look, and that's been something that, if I was trying to be honest with you, I get caught up sometimes in trying to look good, or trying to look like this, everything is in line. There's just something about that there. And I realize that for my people right now, they don't need it to be in line. They need to just have the conversations. They need to be able to be around one another, and really we need to just not be lonely. So just look out for that shift there. I'm going to start that shift right now by just saying like I care about you. And Adam, it's great to see you. Nicole, it's great. I'm so happy you came on here. Like there's so many, this is about you. I appreciate you as I was going on my own journey to understand this, but this is about you. I'm thrilled that my clients have come to me with different ways that they've stretched themselves. One person is interested in AR and VR, more specifically augmented reality. So if any of you out there are interested in augmented reality and want to reach out, let me know. I'd love to connect you. But he brought up something to me that just blew my mind. He's like, I'm new to this field. I'm exploring different things, and I'm having a hard time finding other people who are who are also interested in where I am, like physically. So I found a conference out in Germany, and I'm planning on attending it. At least I'm thinking that I'm going to attend it. And I'll be honest, I bought into his story. I was like, yo, I'm loving this. Like, that's awesome. I'm glad you're going out and doing something. Then he showed me a thing, that's why I love sharing this story. He came out and he said, yeah, there's two other ways too that I could get there. Well, one of them is buying a ticket and going. The second one is buying a booth. I'm like, well, I don't have a company or an organization to do. And the third one, and he was like, and you could see this going on, like the smiling and the resisting at the same time. But the third one is going out there and signing up to be a speaker. And I kind of want to, he said, well, he didn't say I kind of want to do it. What his demeanor was, I kind of want to do it. But he was like, I'm kind of afraid you're going to make me do it, And I'm like, I don't think I need to. I feel like this is what you want to do. Let's go. I love the game that you're playing. But to see that in the people that I'm working with, to see how they themselves are embracing more of who they are, and choosing to push themselves up to the levels that they think that they can be, even when it's uncomfortable, to the point where it's like, I'm going to come out. I just love this I love this topic. I'm passionate about it. It's something new for me. I've been doing it for 3 months. And guess what? I want to put my name out in the hat to be on stage in front of a large conference in Germany, to speak about a topic that I'm just finding out about. That's the game that I want to play. That's the game that like people are playing with me right now, and it's fantastic. I have someone that I worked with who was going back and forth in her mind around like getting to Hong Kong, and she and her boyfriend were like, we want to go out and get out to Hong Kong, get out to Asia, go do something. We had a conversation, and I love the email. She sent it back to me. She said, after our talk, I chose to have a conversation with my boyfriend that night, and we discussed and found a way for us to be able to accelerate our timeline from, hopefully getting to Asia in the next year. And now we're in talks of like, what do we do to make it happen in the next 4 to 6 months? This is the kind of game that people are playing. These are the kinds of things that are happening right now. And she's in talks with people out in Hong Kong to try and like get that path going. But she's not waiting, and she's making it come to life. Like, that to me is incredibly fun. We have Kutiega, who's really embraced her artistry, and through it has taken this thing where she's like, one day I'm going to go out and I'm going to create. I want to be a designer. I want to create my own brand, and I want to teach people through it. And in the six weeks after we talked, she went out and commissioned her first piece of art here in Singapore, and she started building her own YouTube channel where you can actually find her at Kutiega. I think it's Kutiega Art on YouTube. That's Kutega. But Kutiega came out there and she started sharing her art with the world, started sharing her art online. And what's come from it is that she is teaching. She has people reaching out to her and saying, "How did you do this? Where did you learn these concepts? What materials did you use? Where did you get all these things?" And she's out there actively doing it right now, and that fills me with joy. That fills me with joy because she always had it within her, and then she decided to bring it to life. And I feel very grateful to be a part of that journey, and I also feel grateful, and I want to acknowledge the fact that like, yeah, we are on this journey together. So seeing these things here, and it's fun because like my clients are out there doing things in the world. They're making changes in the world out there, and it's cool to see people that I've worked with in the past that are doing great things. Adam, loving that you just passed that fourth exam. Like, booyah! That's what I'm talking about. And Adam, I appreciate it. It is inspirational, but it's beyond that. It's transformational. Who they are has changed. How they operate in the world has changed, and that's the game that I'm playing right now. I want to share these things here because for them. Because I acknowledge them. I see what's going on for them. And I also I want to invite more people who want this kind of stuff, who are ready for this, who've had a track record of success for themselves and are looking and are finding themselves like kind of caught where they are, and they're like, how do I get to that next thing? Whatever that next thing might be. Like, I want to invite more people like that to know that it's possible, and to bring it in there and bring it to life. And I have a thing, Adam, so what's going on for me right now is I have a thing around inspiration. I actually don't love it. And it's funny, so it's like inspiration and motivation, I actually have I'm at odds with. Because, and it's been weird because for years people were like, Nemo, you'd be a great motivational speaker. And I'm like, I don't know why, but I know I would be, but I don't want to be. I know I would be a great motivational speaker, but I don't want to be. And I think it's because I see inspiration. Inspiration is something that can be short-lived. They're inspired, but doesn't really require any action. And likely from inspiration, action doesn't take place. Motivation is cool. Motivation is something that, again, ends up being a little short-lived, but they're like, oh, I feel motivated. And they do something, and it's kind of like, yeah. And then they have to go back and get motivated again. In fact, I was talking to someone who said something that I don't think I'll ever forget. She's like, I don't feel the motivation to be motivated enough. I was like, oh wow, if we're going on double levels, if we're just getting motivated to get motivated, then we have some way to go. Empowerment is the next one that I look at. That's now someone feels empowered. They're like, okay, I can do this. Like, I feel empowered to do this, and so I'm going to do it. And there's a couple different things around that. The empowerment portion, one, I'm trying to see, like, is that someone else empowering others, or do you empower yourself? So where's the direction that comes from it? One of the great things about empowerment though is that it's a longer term. Place versus I'm reading right here, Adam. He said sometimes it helps to be pissed off. Sometimes it does. I kind of call that the way that I interpret it is as the, what's it called? I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. One of the things that we look at when people are being unapologetically themselves is what are their standards and what are the things that they're tolerating in their life. And sometimes it helps to be pissed off because they get to a place and they're like, I'm done with this. No more. I am through with it. And then guess what? Things change in their lives. It's fantastic. So that made me smile. But we had the inspiration, we have the motivation, and then we also have empowerment. And that's where I really came into this whole thing. Like, empowerment's where I want to be. I want to empower people because I've seen people who are really smart, that have all the resources around them, and they still feel like they can't do anything. I want to empower them. But that was me for them. Now, the game that I'm playing is going from inspiration, going from motivation, and even leaving empowerment to a game of transformation. I love seeing people transform into who they truly are. And it's interesting because, like, what I'm finding is that even with a track record of success, people have been what they feel other people want from them. And I'll get into this later. I have to actually take off, so I'm not going to be able to dive into this as deeply. But one of the key things that keep coming up for me is a feeling of, realistically, I'm just going to call it out, a feeling of not enoughness, not worthiness, a feeling of being rejected and not being loved for who they actually are. And so people have done things that have been successful in the eyes of other people, their family, their friends, what they think society wants from them. And they've achieved various levels of success that aren't connected with who they are. And what ends up happening is this deep sense of loneliness, and this fear being thrown out from being accepted, thrown out from the rest of the group. And with that also, a fear of being found out as a fraud. If they only knew. And this is interesting to me because my first ever keynote was on the imposter syndrome. And I didn't know it, but like that was, I mean, it's still the work that I'm doing right now. I didn't know why it was calling to me, but it was. And I think the realistic reason for that is that I feel that. And you see me when I say I'm struggling with things and I come out onto Facebook Live, because this is one of the best ways for me to just put it all out there. And sometimes I'll say something and I'll check myself in the moment. I'm like, did I actually mean that? Was that actually me, or was I programmed? Was that actually me, or was I trying to make you all like me? Was that actually me or what? And I just want to just become more aware. And I cannot censor myself on Facebook Live. It just is. It is what it is. So to be able to get to a place of transformation where people can be all of who they are, they can bring their whole and true selves into the work that they do. They can use that to create the impact that they want in the world. Like, that is the game that I'm playing. And I say specifically leaders, knowing that anyone that chooses to play this game, whether or not they see themselves as a leader or not, is a leader. It's the fun part about it all. It's like, I'm talking to you. And so I want to bring this energy into it. I want to bring this energy into this next level. I want to bring this energy of like, what are we creating now? What are we going to be able to do together? You know, the next stage here, it will be evolving from the one-on-one to bringing more people together to explore what's happening for them, to explore what they can bring to life. And I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be working with possibility-driven leaders. Right now, there's a lot of places I can play. There's a lot of people that I can help. There's a lot of people that we can help together. But where I want to be is for those people who are right on the edge, but people who have everything that they need, but still feel like they're held back. Like, oh my goodness, if we can unlock that and give you a place, a community, a group of people, a place where you can practice just being all you and just knowing like what your values are, what your standards are, what your unique strengths are, and how to bring that out into the world consistently in a way that just fills you with joy because you are showing up as you and helps other people and throughout whatever you are leading. That's the game. That's the only game I want to play. That's the only game I want to play. So look out for that. I'm looking to bragging about more of client successes, community successes, and just some of the fun things that we're doing out in the world. And I'm going to be leaning into my edge. You might see me out here sharing more and teaching more. That's because it's time. it's time. This is the time for me to do it, and it feels good. No, it doesn't. I'm like, it feels good. Yeah, that sounds good to say that, but I'll catch you later, Adam. Thank you. But it just feels right. It feels like this is the time. So I'll leave it here. I'm happy to get back in touch with you all. Look out for more things coming out this way, and just we're gonna keep exploring and experimenting. But know that you're not alone. All right, I'll catch you later. Peace out and bye.